This week's Town Talk brings us Duxbury's town manager, Rainey Reed. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
What is going on in Duxbury?
Well, we've got a couple of things that I think people might find of interest. We have a special town meeting occurring on Monday, October 5th at 7 o'clock. It'll be held at the Performing Arts Center in Duxbury, which is part of the high school, middle school complex. And we have a couple of articles that might be of interest to people. Namely, we have an article, two articles concerning the operation and the concessions associated with North Hill Country Club. The golf course has been operated by an operator for the last 5 years, but we're going out to do a new lease. And we're looking at a 5-year lease with a 3-year extension, so it could be a total.
The same operator?
No, it's going out to bid, so it's going to be. It could be a new operator. It could be the same operator, but we're required by law to go out to bid. So what we'll do is we'll ask the voters to contemplate this new lease arrangement, which would be for the operations of the golf course. That means the golf course itself, where the people actually play on the course. Also, there's an article that contemplates the concessions part of the golf course, which is the clubhouse, essentially the bar and the restaurant facility. So that could be bid by either the same person doing the operations of the golf course or a different contractor altogether. It could be a restaurateur who wants to try and get their foot in the game and see if they want to run a restaurant for 5 years with a 3-year extension. So we're pretty excited about it. It's a new direction for Duxbury, and we think it's going to work out pretty well. So we're asking the voters to show up again on Monday, October 5th.
Monday, October 5th,
It's 7 o'clock at the Performing Arts Center.
Performing Arts Center. Okay, so this is a pretty big topic in town.
It is. Yeah, the North Hill Country Club was the subject of some litigation a couple of years ago, having to do with a previous bid process. But we've changed the way we're doing business, and we're trying to clean that up and make it a smoother operation in the future.
Okay, great. So. And dredging.
Dredging, yeah.
Dredging is back.
That's right. It is back. It was on again, and then it was off again, and now it's back on again. And this time it's really happening. We're very excited about this. This is a $4.5 million project that was authorized by the federal government. We received funding from Congress, and we've got all of our permits in place. And this is going to be dredging the entrance channel from Plymouth Harbor into Duxbury Bay. It's about
a mile? Yep,
it's about 1 nautical mile from the entire channel length. And then it gets into the mooring basin where the deep water moorings are held, and that'll impact probably 200 to 250 vessels that are moored in there now. There's been tremendous amounts of siltation over the time since the last dredging was done.
When was the last dredging?
1997, so it's been quite a few years since we've been in there, and at least 1/3 of the mooring basin right now is silted in, so it's a big project for us to get squared away. Additionally, we'll also be dredging. Private entities will also be dredging using the dredging contractor that will be in there, most notably the Duxbury Yacht Club, the Maritime School, Bayside Marine, Battelle Laboratories, and of course the town. Because
they all time it together.
They do.
To hire them.
They do.
Themselves.
We anticipate that the project will start. The dredges will actually show up probably mid to end of September, and they'll be starting on the entrance channel. So they'll be out further in the bay, and then they'll work their way in. And we suspect that they'll be into the harbor probably by the end of October, and so that's when we have to make sure that all the people have their boats out of the mooring basin, and people are aware of that anyways, because boat insurance usually runs up until November 1st for recreational boaters. But we also have a huge aquaculture industry. It's a multi-million-dollar industry, so a lot of them will be impacted, like
oysters and Duxbury.
Absolutely, Island Creek oysters and all of the affiliates. So we're very excited to have this underway, and it's going to be a great project once it's done, and they will be completed by December 31st.
And how does it work?
It's an interesting process. It's a mechanical dredge. There are two types of dredges. There's mechanical and hydraulic. Hydraulic is basically like a giant vacuum that actually sucks the sand or the silt off of the bottom. But in this case, because we have such tremendous siltation and we're not a sandy bottom, we're a mud bottom, they use a mechanical dredge, which is essentially a large excavator sitting on top of a barge that goes in, scoops out the sand, and then it turns it. The vehicle turns on the barge and dumps it into what's called a scow. And so they take that scow and it goes out by way of tugboat, and they bring it to an offshore dumping site in Wellfleet. So it's a 24-hour operation. Yeah, they don't stop.
Months at a time.
Exactly.
Well, PCN will be sure to be doing a couple of stories, hopefully, about that. Get us out there with the harbor master, and we can do some update
Absolutely.
stories.
It's a fascinating process to watch.
You're going to inform the boaters and the people around there, and they can probably go to the website for more information.
Correct. In fact, last night we updated the board again. We have sent out notification to all of the boat owners so that they're all well aware of this, and they're all very happy to have it happening.
Good. Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it as always.
Oh, my pleasure.
Lots
My
going
pleasure.
on.
Yep.
Now you just gave me a whole bunch of new stories for Duxbury.
I'm
so
glad.
I'm excited too.
Glad I could help.